exercise in addition to the coaching and cueing behind it. So let's break it down. So the first thing is the setting up of the landmine itself, okay? So if you don't have the landmine attachment, all you're gonna do, put a towel on the end of the bar, okay, and wedge it on in a corner. You can use a bench. Ideally, you got it so it's not moving, all right? So safety first. Number two, when we do this, you're gonna see that I have this slight forward lean, right? This slight forward lean allows me to generate some tension into the bar, okay? So I'm not underneath it and there's like just hanging. I'm actually leaning into it, okay? There's a little bit of pressure there. I have some tension in the outside of my ankle, okay? Through my foot, outside of my knee, and up through my hips. So I'm actually gonna grab the ground with my hips, okay? Third thing, I think we're at 3. We're gonna go and drop the hands, okay? We're gonna start here. We're gonna drop the hands to shoulder height. We're gonna get roughly shoulder height. I'm gonna brace and breathe, okay, into it to allow myself to turn, right? But to push and to generate the tension from here. So again, shoulder height, you're loading your obliques, your lats, your shoulders. You notice you have to have a range of motion. Otherwise, if you don't have this range of motion, you're gonna feel like this is all shoulders. So loading your obliques here, because you're leaning into it, 1, 2, combining the breath with the turn, and then 3, owning that range of motion, right? So there's that 90 degrees. I'm not pressing. It's sort of difficult to not press. A lot of people try to press this exercise and then they're using their arms. That's not the idea here. So that's number 1. Landmine. Again, this is a sort of an advanced situation for most people, but I think if you can teach it right and learn it right, learn to get the anti-rotation first so that you're using your core to turn it back to the middle. I find that a lot of people do better that way. Next, again, going after the this kind of theme for today is obliques. So what we're going to do is do a, I'm going to call this a windshield wiper. The biggest thing people ask is, what do I do with my hands? So what I'm going to have you do is like a crane, grabs the ground, hold, breathe in, go as far as you can control, come back to the middle. As far as you can control, back to the middle. Right? Notice that the legs are straight, okay? Mostly straight. Back to the middle, okay? Head is on the ground, and I'm trying to control. A lot of people do this way too fast. They go down, they go up and over. I don't think you're gonna feel that to the same extent, okay? As grab the ground, learn to resist that rotation, and try to drive the motion from here. A lot of people will also say they only feel the stretch in their hips. It's probably because they're going too far down, right? And then they're not gonna feel it. The other exercise that's a cousin to this, okay, is the diagonal leg drop. This is arguably harder, okay, but also harder to feel. So I'm gonna, almost like a mermaid, here's the mermaids, that sideline crunch, almost like the mermaid, I'm gonna drop into that spot, okay, about 45 degrees, and then back. So I'm exposing this oblique here. Again, that same concept, pushing into the ground, but that's why it's almost like a mermaid. Again, here's the regular wiper, okay? And then we do regular leg drops. Then there's the diagonal leg drop. So the really important thing for you to learn is which exercise can you feel the intended muscle group the most. I think everyone should be able to do the wiper, but if you're struggling with this exercise, what you can also do is just do this as a stretch, okay? So you can just get that stretch of a single leg wiper almost. You can also do like, there's another advanced thought there is you can learn to disassociate your hips from your pelvis. It's really kind of separate, but working on it's called a single leg glute bridge with an adduction. So there's another exercise there. Let's go to the final exercise. Not going to lift heavy for this one. I want to be able to talk and walk at the same time. So the half get up. Why the half get up? Why the Turkish get up? I think for a lot of people, the half get up itself teaches positioning and ownership of those positions. That's 1. 2, when you're doing the half get up, I think you're finding out what's tight, what's a little bit maybe restricted, maybe what's feels unstable. So when we teach the half get up, we're actually listening and watching for the client to say, yeah, I feel this here. So first things first, I'm gonna have my feet out to the side a little bit. They're not gonna be straight. Whatever knee is up, that's the hand that's up. Okay, from here, I'm gonna grab the dumbbell, kettlebell. whatever you're gonna hold here, okay? I'm gonna press into the ground, okay? Almost like I'm being pulled. Imagine there's a rope this way. Almost like I'm being pulled. I'm gonna press into my left elbow, press, punch this to the ceiling, okay? Make sure I'm pressing, getting that vertical concept. Imagine that I have a string attached to the ceiling. It's gonna be more than a string. A rope attached to the ceiling, pulling my sternum up to the ceiling. I'm gonna hold that, and then from here, I'm gonna press this hand into the ground, maintaining that position and that posture, okay? And then notice my foot is still out, so I'm pushing out here. Slowly lower myself back down, and then roll back down to the ground. I'll show you from the other side. So again, the foot out to the side, okay? Knee up, kind of closer than you think. My main two contact points, oddly enough, this heel and this elbow. You'll see it on this side. I think this is a better pattern, just for me. So I'm gonna roll, I need a dumbbell. I'm gonna roll / push into this. Imagine I'm pulling again. By pulling down here, I'm gonna get my elbow contact with the ground. I'm gonna push to my left heel and my right elbow into the ground. Okay, see how that went up a little easier than the other side? And then I'm gonna continue up, again, as if I'm being pulled by that rope, not the string. The string wouldn't support me, and then back down. Okay, so imagine that concept. I'll show you one more. Elbow, push, okay, and then push. And then if we wanted to, we could add the full hip extension as we train for the full Turkish get-up. We're not necessarily training for the full Turkish get-up today. We're training just these corner muscles, also known as the obliques. So, anti-rotations for the landmine, the vipers, maybe the vipers. It could be the diagonal leg drops too. A lot of variation here, and then the half get-up. But with the intent to train this muscle group / these movement patterns. So learning how to use these muscles as we do movement is part of this game. Can you train movements? Can you train muscles? Yes. That's our oblique focus for this workout. Have a good one.